From the Alex Trebek stage at Sony Picture Studios, this is Inside Jeopardy!
Oh, there he is. The dulcet sounds of Johnny Gilbert on the axe.
On the axe.
Sorry, guys. It's just me and Buzzy. But hello and welcome back to Inside Jeopardy, your exclusive and official podcast destination for all things happening in the world of Jeopardy! I'm Sarah Foss, back today with Buzzy Cohen.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. You really tricked me. I thought that I was doing the pod with Michael today.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Never a disappointment.
Just me today, and this is a big day because, we've been doing this little pod that could for 2 years now, and for the first time ever, we're going to take a little hiatus.
I like it.
So we're going out with a bang with you on our last episode of the season. We're going to be back, though, on September 9th. That is the day that season 41 debuts. So on that Monday, we will be back with new pod episodes. We're going to have perhaps a new special guest, and we will also recap the final week of season 40 as we lead into season 41.
And September 9th, 9-9, I'm a 9-game champion. We'll be talking about another 9-game champion today, won't we?
We sure are. A little later on the pod, we're going to catch up with Isaac Hirsch because, of course, his impressive 9-game streak, similar to when Buzzy Cohen came to an end. Love talking to Isaac, and he will certainly be a lot of fun, I'm sure, to talk with today.
Yeah, there's more going on in the Jeopardy universe, though.
There really is. I mean, first of all, happy birthday to Alex Trebek today. This would have been Alex's 84th birthday, and we are celebrating with a very cool event here on the lot. It's the official unveiling of the Alex Trebek commemorative stamp. So the entire team from the United States Postal Office is here. We're having a big event this afternoon. They're going to pull down the official curtain to reveal the official stamp. As all of you know, because of course we've previewed it, it is a clue about Alex. And it's just really a very cool honor to know that Alex is being commemorated in such a special way.
Yeah, huge. Really special. I can't wait to go to the post office and buy them.
And the post office put together a very cool, they call it a stamp story, and they put one together for each of the recipients of the commemorative stamps. So lots of fun for today. And Buzzy, next month, you and I are going to be in Detroit City.
That's right. We're hitting the Motor City. Even though we're on a hiatus, we are not stopping the train.
We do not slow down. You, of course, are a big part of SporkleCon. I know you have a lot of events that you are hosting, including
very busy.
Baby Got Facts, a 90s themed quiz.
That's right. And for those of you who haven't already purchased my book, and if you're going to SporkleCon, you might want to, because you can imagine where I'm pulling the questions for, and you can seem so smart from having my book.
The perfect study guide.
Exactly.
And a great read at that. Yeah. We will also be there as part of SporkleCon on Friday evening. We're doing Inside Jeopardy Live on Tour, our second live event. So if you happen to be going to SporkleCon, come to the Friday night event. We'll be there at the Fillmore Detroit, a very historic theater. We're going to host the pod. We're going to host an interactive game. So, the summer fun, it just keeps going. And we've got some fun games to talk about. But before we get into the highlights, let's take a look back at this week in Jeopardy history.
We come now to Celeste DiNucci. She was in second place. She wrote down something quickly. She wrote down, what is Tunis? And you add an IA and you come up with Tunisia. You are correct. And you jump up to 23,199 as we come to Matthew, who struggled. And I fear it may have cost him. He came up with Algiers. He was close, but not close enough. He lost 11,601. He drops down to 7,999. And Celeste DiNucci, congratulations. You are now a 5-day champion with 83,601. And you get to play again.
It was July 26th, 2006, when Celeste DiNucci became a 5-game Jeopardy champion, securing her spot in the Tournament of Champions. And then, after advancing to the semifinals by a wild card, Celeste went on to secure her spot in the finals and ended up prevailing as a TOC champion. Celeste, at that point, only the third female TOC winner in all of Jeopardy history. Of course, we welcomed Celeste back to the JIT this year. Great to see her back. And
absolutely.
A legacy in Jeopardy history, for sure. Well, we kicked off the week with Isaac going for his 9th win, the Buzzy Cohen, as we call it. Isaac got out to an early lead, but unfortunately missed the first Daily Double in Double Jeopardy, which allowed Brenna to close the gap. She found the last Daily Double and had the chance to go all in for the lead, but opted for a small wager. Brenna was correct, but it was Isaac who maintained the lead heading into final, where he was correct and secured the win, taking him over the $200,000 mark.
Incredible. So impressive. That's averaging over $20K a game. That is tough to do.
That's great money.
Yep.
We had a category with Glenn Powell and
Yep.
Daisy Edgar Jones in this show. And this was fun because we shot this category with them on one of their media days for the film. And of course, you know, they did clues all about different weather phenomenon. And when I had Glenn reading his clue and it said haboob, I mean, he thought we were maybe punking him. He couldn't believe that haboob was a word that was in fact a real word, and we were making him say it on Jeopardy. I give him credit because all of us were kind of giggling, and he maintained professionalism and only a couple of takes to get the perfect delivery of haboob.
I think you guys should now have fake extra clues that you make the clue presenter say to make them say funny words.
Yeah,
it's kind
and
of
then
see
that'll
if
be
they
so
catch
fun
it.
that maybe no one will want to record with us, though. I don't know.
Oh, well, you're like, oh, we need an extra clue. It's about
Yeah.
haboobs.
I think if we ever have you record any clues, I think that's a fun idea for you.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right. Yeah, they used to do that to Alex, actually.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, they would kind of come up with a really complicated board with all these crazy pronunciations just to see if he would say anything. And, you know, it
Yeah.
was Alex. He didn't. He was like, well, this is what the writers have. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I was excited to learn that Isaac was hired as a Jeff Goldblum impersonator for a water ballet. There are so many words in that sentence that individually make sense, but when put together, somehow break my brain.
Yeah. And Isaac said, I can't hope to capture the raw, strange, and sexual energy that Jeff Goldblum has. And Ken joked, I don't want to say too much, but you're coming pretty close right now, Isaac.
Yes.
Yes. Let's hear how Isaac was feeling after notching a 9th win.
That was a great game. Brenna, I know final did not go the way you wanted it to, but once he had performative, it was
know.
kind of all done.
No, I
and you played a very strong game. Once you saw the To Kill a Mockingbird Daily Double, how tempted were you in that moment to go all in? Or at least wager for the lead?
Pretty tempted, but I realized we were kind of at the end game too.
You're right. Did seeing Isaac kind of blow the first Daily Double in the round affect your
No.
judgment? Oh, okay.
No.
That's good. It's good to have that short memory, I guess. Because that was what closed the game up quite a bit right there.
Yeah, if I'd gotten that, I was rolling, and then basically didn't get any questions after that, I think. So it was pretty rough. It's getting less and less comfortable every time I'm up here. So
That's what they say about a new skill. It just gets less and less comfortable the more you do it.
it really feels that way. I don't know. Maybe people in the green room are watching me and figuring out all my tricks or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. It's always fun. It's always fun. But as fun goes, that was less fun than some of the other games.
You know, he's had some people put him to the test. They have not all been runaways,
Okay.
but that's as close as anybody has come, I want to say. $1,200
For sure,
going into
very,
final.
the closest by a long shot.
That was a very strong game.
Well, Isaac, if you're tired, you can go home. Just take a rest.
Yeah, we've never seen a Jeopardy player retire undefeated, Isaac. Now's your chance.
I could hold the record as the only person to never lose on Jeopardy, but no, I will go down in flames, as is my right.
Does that mean you don't want to come back for the TOC, or you're just confident you will win?
If I were to retire for some reason, I would also decline the TOC invitation and hold my record. But that is a hypothetical. It is not. I'm going to lose here, and I'm going to lose on the TOC as well.
Okay, you've got a plan.
Yes,
I see.
absolutely.
At some point. You've got over $200,000 right now, Isaac. What do you think Jeff Goldblum would say about that?
Oh, he would, he'd just be like, uh-huh.
Very nice. Well, it's a great game, everybody, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Well, Isaac returned on Tuesday, just one win away from double-digit super champion status, but Jay Fisher proved to be a tough challenger. Jay formed a big lead heading into Double Jeopardy, but Isaac, even after dropping $5,000 on a Daily Double, managed to head into final just $900 behind Jay. Final was a triple stumper, and a questionable wager from Isaac allowed Jay to take the win. We will, of course, be talking to Isaac a little later in the pod, and I'm sure that he will bring up the wager, but it was something that, immediately after this game, he knew that he had miscalculated and he just had messed up the math.
Happens to the best of us, especially a great 9-game winner.
Yeah. Let's hear how Isaac was feeling right after that moment.
Isaac, you're looking at your math right now.
I did it wrong. I did my math incorrectly.
A math mistake. So you were aware of a situation where everybody gets it wrong, and you were trying to wager.
That is
for
correct.
the win in that situation.
Yes. Ouch. I was like, you got it wrong. Oh my God, I'm gonna win with $1,300. And I looked, I was like, no, I'm not. Oh no. This was, certainly one of the worst ways to lose, but also one of the most fitting for me to lose because I am bad at math. So this pretty much fits with who I am.
This is in character for you?
Yes.
If it's any comfort, it has happened many times out here before. I think I once had the contestant coordinators come over and remind me I had wagered more than I had. Which I thought I'd unlocked a whole new level of Jeopardy, but no, you are not allowed to wager more than you have, it turns out. So it has happened multiple times up here. At least you had the right strategy. You knew what you wanted to do. You just went a little too heavy.
Yeah, and I thought I calculated the right balance, and I just did not. I just did it wrong, and boy, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Go to someone else.
I understand. It's a tough moment. But listen, Isaac, I hope you can celebrate. You're going to be in the Tournament of Champions. You're a 9-game winner, over $200,000. Congratulations. But Jay, not just an asterisk. It's true that you won $1,799, but you defeated the 9-game champion by having the lead in Final Jeopardy.
So that was good. I think that being Jeopardy champion might usurp my 22 hours as a state senator in my obituary. So.
Well, here's the thing about Jeopardy. The shows air 23 and a half hours apart.
Yes.
You're guaranteed to be a Jeopardy champ longer than you were a state senator.
Yeah.
By at least an hour and a half, if not more, if not weeks. We don't know. Are you ready for game 2, Jay, of your streak tomorrow?
I am ready.
You're ready. Maybe Isaac will be rooting for you. Maybe he wants a rematch in the TOC.
Absolutely, of course. I want Jay to win 9 games. Do it.
Thank you. Very good.
Well, congratulations to both of you on the streak and for the big win. Well done, Jay.
Can we wrap up Isaac's stats?
Oh, let's do it. I love a little stat wrap-up. Total winnings, $215,390, averaging $21,669 per game, 4 runaways, 7 for 10 in Final Jeopardy. Pretty impressive.
Very
Stats
impressive.
Only surpassed by Adriana Harmeyer, I think. 265 correct responses, averaging a very, very impressive 27 per game.
That's good.
And 14 for 20 in daily doubles of the 30 available. So he found a lot of
20.
them.
Yeah. Wow.
And was correct on more than half of them.
I always say that the real daily double important stat is how many of the 30 you find, because that really says who's controlling, that you're controlling the board when it matters.
Absolutely.
So that is, the 14 is impressive and the 20 is just as, if not more impressive to me.
And on Wednesday, Jay was feeling pretty impressive as well. After defeating a 9-game champion, he came back and put on a strong performance, finding both daily doubles and double Jeopardy, adding $6,500 to his score and cruising into a runaway win. I have to point out, this was a tough game. Not a stat we want to talk about often, and that is 21 triple stumpers in this game. 4 triple stumpers in the category of opera heroines alone. I think this is where the writers first coined the term the dreaded
opera
category, because I think for these 3, it certainly was.
Never want to see a stat like that. And sometimes it's just a case of, that particular board just hits the weak spots of all 3 contestants. Doesn't happen a lot. Thankfully, we have very bright contestants, but when it happens, it happens.
Well, Jay pulls off that win to head into Thursday, facing off against 2 new worthy opponents in Micah Rontemeyer and Meredith Miller. All 3 players neck and neck throughout the entire game, but it was Micah who was able to pull into a small lead heading into final. This was unfamiliar territory for Jay. He had always been in the lead heading into final, but he was the only one who was able to come up with the correct response in final and pulls off an exciting come-from-behind win.
Yeah, I'm a big Talking Heads fan, so that Final Jeopardy, I was all about it. In the category Showbiz Marriages, married since 1977, the year of this band's first album, two members referenced another album with their 2023 Remain in Love tour. That would, of course, be Remain in Light, the Talking Heads, great Talking Heads album.
That's a successful couple right there.
Very successful. That would be Tina Weymouth and Chris Franz.
Well, another fun moment in this game was the fact that Jay talked about how his two sons went to Naperville North High School in Illinois.
That
of course,
name rings a bell.
Alma mater of none other than James Holzhauer. And Jay said that his kids were probably pretty disappointed when he didn't do the all-in Holzhauer push, you know, when he got the daily double.
Yeah.
The cool thing was both of his sons were in the audience.
That's
so
awesome.
They got to see Dad succeed with or without the all-in.
Well, he got another chance for that all-in on Friday, didn't he?
He sure did. We closed out the week with Jay going for a fourth win, but he ran into a buzzsaw. That was Nilesh Vinjamuri. Scored 19 correct responses, was correct on a daily double, ends up with a runaway win.
Congratulations, Nilesh. Jay, congratulations on a great couple games, finishing out with a correct response in final. I don't know if that's a good way to go out or a bad way to go out, but Jay, well done.
A win is a win. I think just getting final is a win.
Exactly.
You know, I think that's a good thing. We may not have talked about his gameplay, but Dave Gutierrez got to talk about his fashion. He had on a very cool pink button-down shirt, but what you didn't see above the podium is what was happening behind it, and that is some very flashy hot pink shoes. After the game, Ken said, you know, I got to ask about these shoes, Dave. And Dave said, I have an awesome friend who had surgery on his foot and he couldn't keep the shoes anymore. And I thought, I have to have those.
Well, this is what the internet content of Jeopardy is for, because it doesn't make it onto our syndicated show, but people out there need to see Dave's shoes.
Yeah, you got to see these shoes. They were impressive. Of course, we still have one more week of games to close out season 40, so we're going to be sure to share those highlights at the top of our first episode on September 9th. But before we head into our host chat, let's take a look at where the TOC tracker stands as of now. First off, our first qualifier, Lisa Ann Walter, our Celebrity Jeopardy champion. We talked to her earlier in the season. We know she is ready. She's preparing. She's got Ike Barinholtz as a goal of how well a celebrity can do in the TOC. First off, in terms of our regular champions, we've got Adriana Harmeyer. She's at 15 wins. Right behind her, Isaac Hirsch. You love him. You know him. We're going to be talking to him soon. He's got 9 wins. Followed by Drew Basile, our giant killer, with 7 wins. Allison Betts with 5 wins. Amy Hummel with 5 wins. Grant DeYoung, 4 wins. Now, not an automatic qualifier, but oftentimes we see those 4-game champions make it into the TOC. And also Umar Kakirdi with 4 wins as well. Now, we will be extending the cutoff period for the TOC into season 41. So we'll let you know ahead of time, you know, when that cutoff is going to be. We want to make sure that we have a full field, but we also want to keep a lot of contestants in the pool for next year's TOC for season 42. So a lot to consider, but that's where the TOC stands as of now. And
shaping up to be quite a field.
It really is. I'm very excited about all of the names on
too.
that list. Well, now it is time for this week's final host chat of the podcast season. An audience member asked Ken, what does a tape day look like for contestants?
As you now know, we do 5 shows in a day, so contestants show up very early to get in hair and makeup and have an orientation about the rules of the show, and then a full on-stage rehearsal. They all get a shot at playing the game with real-life buzzers and gaming conditions so they can get used to it. And we start around 11:15, and they don't know when they're going to play. We draw new names. We choose new names at the beginning of each new game. And I was relieved in my first day when I got called up because I was just tired of the suspense of waiting. But then if you win, you got to suddenly realize you got to play again. And that's also kind of stressful in its own way because you were probably giving it all out in that first game.
That is a great question. And for those of you who are interested in diving more into a day in the life at Jeopardy, we on the This Is Jeopardy podcast did kind of the same tape day from a couple different perspectives, followed Ken around, followed a contestant around. So if you are into that, check out This Is Jeopardy.
And what's your feeling on this? Do you like to be called first? Would you want to hang around and watch how the
First.
days go?
I want to play first.
All right, just like
I don't
Ken.
want to sit around. Yeah. I was lucky. Not only did I play the Monday game on my original tape day, but also in the TOC. I was in the first quarterfinal, so I just got it out of the way, got to watch the games.
And just
chill
went
out.
on to
Because
win it all.
This was also the era of the sequestration because of wild cards. So if you
Yeah.
weren't playing in one of those first games, you were watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and playing knockoff Jenga in the green room.
That's true. Those days.
Tumbling Towers, I believe, was the name.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. We can't spring for the real Jenga.
I talked to the
Jenga.
contestant team.
Who knew? All right, Buzzy. And now for our last interview of the season, let's welcome to the pod 9-game champion, Isaac Hirsch. Isaac, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I don't know if you know this guy beside me. I feel like you guys might know each other.
Hi.
We have technically met, and even though we never really directly spoke to one another. But hello, Buzzy. It's good to see you again.
Hi. Yes. Well, let me be the first to congratulate you again. You just love winning money on television.
It's some of the only ways I can make money, it seems like. So I'm I'm glad I have a skill set.
And for those of you who didn't see, Isaac and his team did, in fact, defeat Buzzy on
The Stunner.
chase.
They didn't defeat Buzzy. They defeated the
sorry.
Stunner.
His alter ego, the Stunner, was taken down by Isaac and team. So I know a lot of people have commented when they saw you on Jeopardy that,
Yeah.
this is not the first time they've seen Isaac. So people were pulling up those chase clips.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really weird experience. I keep saying everything was a surreal experience. I guess, being on television is a surreal experience compared to everyday life. So it was a surreal experience. I remember when we taped that, we were the first people to go. I was the first person on the first taping, so I didn't get to watch anything. I didn't get to relax or settle in. I just had to go up there and immediately do it. And I was very nervous, and there was a lot of flubbing and missed questions that in retrospect I probably could have gotten. But I'm sure, Buzzy probably feels the same way, and you have more experience than I do at this point. It's the metaphor I like to use is that when you're on a game show, your brain is kind of on low power mode where you're not fully thinking about things. Like you can make very basic connections, but you can't do complex reasoning because it's just too fast paced and there's stress and pressure. So you're almost just kind of doing word association a little bit. And so with the benefit of hindsight, watching it back, I'm like, oh, I know what Bob Dylan's Desolation Row is or whatever, but it's just the brain isn't fully 100% when you're up there.
Yeah, 100%. But what I will say is you clearly made a big impression on people because your look, your style, your je ne sais quoi landed in the public consciousness. So when you appeared on the Alex Trebek stage, everyone immediately said, I have seen this brainiac before.
It's the mustache, I think.
Could be.
I think it is the vintage Burbank, as we have been calling it, the look. That's pretty good, too.
Yeah, it was funny because after the first taping where I taped the first 3 games, there was a weekend break, and I went to a wedding, and then on that Sunday, we went to a bunch of vintage shops in Burbank, and I bought the shirt that I wear in Game 4 that weekend, because I was like, I need more vintage wardrobe that may get approved by Jeopardy's wardrobe department, because they kept turning down all my stuff for having stripes and polka dots and stuff, so thankfully they approved that one. But yeah, I like Columbo a lot. That's what got me into men's 70s fashion.
Well, just one more thing. It turns out you are not the first of your family to appear on the Alex Trebek stage. Did you ever think about maybe wearing what he wore?
Yeah, people have actually repeatedly assumed I am wearing what he wore. They're just like, that's his dad's clothing. And it's not. None of it is my dad's. I have a suit of his that I thought about bringing, but I thought it just didn't really work, didn't look that good. So I did not wear any of my dad's pieces, unfortunately.
Well, and let's be honest, you didn't know if those were necessarily good luck.
But true,
because
yes.
unlike you, your dad did not go on to be a Jeopardy champion. One of the things that amazed me the most was that even after you had been winning and winning, you said you weren't going to tell him. And then, in fact, when you called him, he said, I don't want to know. So how did that all go down once it actually turned out that you did win? In fact, you won 9 games.
Yeah, he didn't want to know. My mom and dad did not know. They found out with the rest of the world when it aired. And my dad's just been so stoked. They've been so excited to see everything happen. It's been really cool, and on some level, I'm glad I didn't tell them because it's very fun to watch their like genuine reactions to each game as it happened.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, we talk about proud parents, but for your dad in particular, like he knows just what it takes to make it to Jeopardy, certainly to win a single game and then to go on such a streak. It just has to be the gift that keeps on giving for him to watch you.
Yeah, I think so. So, it's been really great to have them experience it as a new thing. And when you're up there, it also goes so fast that like watching it back, some of it feels like a new thing to me too. There have been games where I'm like,
Totally.
boy, I barely remember what happens in this one until I watched it again.
I think one of the things that is so impressive is that even though, you're in this really intense competition, during the interview segments, that's one thing that people have really commented on is just how much they've enjoyed your stories and your interactions and just how comfortable you are up there telling jokes, telling your story. Was that something that you thought about or did it just come naturally for you?
I practiced the first anecdote. I had thought about what the first anecdote was going to be, and I had some vague ideas for like the next two. And then once we were past game 3, I'm like, oh, I don't have any. I have no more practiced, polished anecdotes I've thought about at all. I had to, after game 8, there was another, that was the end of another taping. And I went home and I just asked my girlfriend, like, do you know any other good stories about me? She's like, weren't you Jeff Goldblum in a water ballet in Baltimore? I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So that ended up being game 9's
That's gold.
anecdote.
How could you forget that of all things?
I have a terrible memory for things that have happened to me. Great memory for like facts and figures and stuff. And then whatever has happened in my life, I forget about almost instantly.
Well, I also loved that you didn't really want to let on to the fact that you are a comedian until very far along in your run because you said, I'm funny, but I'm not like, if you say you're a comedian, then people want you to be really funny.
Yeah, I didn't want to set expectations too high. I like that people find out very late in the game that I did stand up, and it's like, because almost it feels like cheating a little bit, where they're like, oh, well, he's done this before. He should do good anecdotes, and I don't want them to think that. I want them to be like, wow, that nerd really has a way with words. He's so charming, and then find out later that I did stand up for a decade and I should know how to say words in front of people.
Well, and we talked about, obviously the TOC you're going to go up against, we don't know if in the same game, but certainly in the same competition, Lisa Ann Walter, a fellow comedian. How's that sound?
I mean, I expect her to crush me in the anecdote portion for sure. But yeah,
but you've got her in the swimsuit.
It'll be fun. I mean, it'll be cool to meet her. My girlfriend's really excited for that. So yeah, that should be a real cool thing.
Well, along the way, we kept talking about the money that you were earning, and you end up earning over $200,000. And you said, in your line of work, that's big money. So what's that been like to just think, based on my knowledge, I just earned a pretty good 6-figure salary for a 9 days work.
Yeah.
Or actually for a 3 days work.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it was gosh, I'm going to say surreal again. I gotta get a thesaurus, I guess. It's been great. I mean, it could not have come at a better time. My girlfriend's been out of work since April. So like, I mean, it's not like we need $200,000 immediately, but like, I want to get married, we live in California, it's expensive here. So like, it's been such a blessing in a lot of ways.
I got a great venue. It's called the Alex Trebek Stage. I mean, it's been done before, Isaac. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I asked her, I was like, do you want me to propose to you on Jeopardy? And she said, absolutely not.
Walk down the stage. Who needs an aisle? You can exchange buzzers. Who knows? I don't know. I can see it happening.
Possibilities are endless.
It's a good thing you asked her about the proposal, though. I'm glad that you didn't go for that, in the TOC and have her be like, what?
Yeah.
Do you not know me at all?
That would be a very unwise move, I think. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to convince her to do Jeopardy. I'm like, we're going to train you. We're going to train you to win 10 games. I'm really into it, and she's like, I don't know. That's your thing.
Pop culture. How does she feel about pop culture Jeopardy? You guys could be on a team.
She's done some like pop culture trivia events with me before. We thought about it. I'm like, I don't think I should be on your pop culture team. I'm not good enough to be on your pop culture Jeopardy team.
Okay. Well, as a fellow 9-game
yes.
champion, I think you have a pretty good odds of winning this TOC. What are you feeling like you want to do different, the same? Like, what did you learn from your 3 days on the Alex Trebek stage that you're going to bring to bear in this next Tournament of Champions?
Well, I mean, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare to be on Jeopardy, other than my whole life, obviously. But like, I found out I was going to be on the show like 2.5 weeks before I taped, and so pretty quickly I was like, it is what it is. I'm not going to put a ton of pressure on myself to like learn geography in 2.5 weeks, because that's just not going to happen. And I'm just going to try to focus on relearning things I've forgotten and try to get good at the format of Jeopardy and like really drill down on like wagering and stuff, which obviously I didn't do that great a job on. But that was the preparation.
You brought it up, Isaac, not us.
That was the preparation that I did for in 2.5 weeks. But for this, I have more advanced notice. So like, I'm doing everything. I looked at what Victoria Gross said. She does flashcards. Okay, I'm doing flashcards. I'm trying to learn geography. I'm trying to really study for this, because I feel like I have a lot to prove going to the Tournament of Champions, that I can do simple arithmetic, that I can win high pressure games. I don't just, against good competition, I'm not just going to cruise to victory. I'm going to have to really fight for it and wager not conservatively. So I'm trying to mentally prepare for all of that.
I love it.
Well, you did bring it up. I didn't want to talk about it, but, I have to talk about it. You've had a little time now to digest that final and the wager. And right after the game, I heard you say to Ken, I did the math wrong. So just what happens in those brief seconds that I'm sure felt like an eternity for you, knowing that you really would have been a 10-game champion and who knows how many more if not for a math error?
Oh man, I'm so glad they don't show my face when they're showing Jay's reveal.
We do have that shot somewhere. We can probably pull that
gosh,
up.
Because literally when his says, who is Charles Manson, I'm like, oh my god, I just won. And then they showed his wager and then his total, and I was like, that's higher than mine. That can't be right. And then I looked at it. Again, in the interview portion, I think I spent the first minute of the interview just sort of looking at my scratch paper that I did the math on, where I'm like, how did I do this wrong? Because yes, on some level you could argue it was like a strategic error, but I was just trying to thread the needle, wager as much as possible while still having $1 more than him if we both got Final Jeopardy wrong. And I just did the math wrong on that. I put 2 minus 4 and I put a 2 under that instead of an 8, which it should have been. And I have a lot of excuses that I could give, and that I was very tired. My dinner the night before didn't agree with me. I didn't sleep very well. And also, there's just a mental fatigue to playing 9 games of Jeopardy in a row in a very short succession. And I felt like I was just mentally slowing down each game. I was getting slower on the buzzer. My brain just wasn't ticking. Like, I got that daily double in the last game where it's like, he's named after the explorer Amundsen, and all I could think of was NBA journeyman center Lou Amundsen, who is not related to the question at all. I was exhausted. All of that said, I should have done the math right.
I'm petitioning for actually a national law that says you cannot make someone do math on television, because I have fallen victim to this a few times on The Chase, a few times on Jeopardy. It is cruel, It is cruel to have to do the math.
As a producer, and I see, I can see all of the telestrators, I can see all 3 wagers, and in that moment, I'm actually hoping that it's not a triple stumper, because it will be so much less painful, right?
Yeah.
If Jay gets it right, it doesn't matter, and then I'm in, oh no.
And you can see them writing their responses as well. So you're
I just am
in slow motion.
Yeah. And even though I've been with the show for how long, you still think that maybe there's a do-over, or it really isn't happening.
Right.
Nope.
Maybe when Ken reads it, something will be different.
Yeah, it's going to change. Maybe with the wager I saw, they've taken the wagers away. Maybe I wrote it down incorrectly. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. But yeah, that was a painful moment, but so many great moments along your streak. I will say, in your 3rd game, 33 correct responses, which tied you with Drew Basile. You may know him as well. You guys were kind of back to back in the public eye. He'll be there in the TOC, but 33 correct responses, that's huge. And that's the most we saw all season. And we're including Masters, we're including TOC, we're including JIT. So that is legit stats right there. Yes. And then in your 4th game, 18 correct responses just in a single round in the Jeopardy
Wow.
round, tied with Wei Ki, who didn't make the TOC, but Adriana Harmeyer, who did. So I just want you to know, like, you are stacking up against the best, and it really does bode well for you in the TOC.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, one thing that's been really nice about this is that, as I said, the experience of taping it was kind of a blur, to the point where, like, I barely remembered what happened in certain games, but I remembered everything about the game I lost. I remembered
Of course.
the whole thing. So it's been really nice having them spaced out day by day airing, where I'm like, oh, this is so much, and just enjoying the experience of being a 9-day Jeopardy champion, stuff like that. It's been really, really great. This has been a wonderful experience. I have no complaints. I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at online for not being able to do math. Story of my life, I couldn't do math in school either. But I don't care. It's been really great. And I should say also, all credit to Jay, who played a fantastic game. I said this in the interview after the game as well. You know, he deserved to win that game. He was ahead going into Final Jeopardy. He played a great game. But yeah, it's been just a great experience. I met so many great people, and you know, the playing Jeopardy is really fun, and I'm glad I get to do it again.
I want to call out your 4 runaway wins. You know, then you don't have to do the math. Were you kind of like, what was on your bucket list? Was that part of like what you really wanted to see? Were there a couple things, true daily doubles? Like, a lot of people show up with like, if I have the chance, I want X, Y, or Z. What was on your list?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think strategically with my, you know, I'm not the best strategist, but I was like, all right, I wanna make as many runaways as possible, because then I don't have to worry about Final Jeopardy. I'm not fantastic at Final Jeopardy. I know, like, Adriana got like 11 in a row, right? Not gonna happen with
insane.
me.
Details.
I'm not that good at the thinking that Final Jeopardy requires. I'm like, great, if I don't have to worry about Final Jeopardy, that's the goal. Like, I want to put as many of these into runaways as I can, and so I tried to wager roughly to that effect on daily doubles when I found them. I know people are saying I was not nearly aggressive enough, but I didn't want to also jeopardize the possibility of being in the lead. Like, I'm not James Holzhauer. I don't think I'm going to get every daily double right, and I didn't. So I didn't want to be crazy with the wagers. I definitely got a few true daily doubles wrong in single Jeopardy as well, which hurt for sure. So that's the thing about wagering aggressively, is that if it goes wrong, it goes very wrong. And so I tried to avoid that as much as possible.
The Jeopardy round is certainly the time to be wrong.
Yeah.
On a true daily double is what I would say. Sarah just pointed out some of your amazing stats. I would like to ask the real hard-hitting question.
Oh, we haven't had this.
We haven't had this in a while.
Yeah. I like
What
it.
is your lunch order at the Sony commissary?
I couldn't eat. Like, I mean, I did order stuff. Like, I'm not gonna turn down a free lunch, but like, I'd take like 3 bites of it and like not be able to eat the rest of it because I was just so nervous and burpy. I mean, I am a very gastrointestinally challenged man, to the point that like I was repeatedly apologizing to the sound guys because I'm like, I'm sure you're picking up every burp and gas noise I'm making, and I'm so sorry. I'm sure it's gross. I'm really, especially the last day, because my dinner did not agree with me, so I was just like burping through the first game, burping through the second game. Like, I could not eat lunch very much. I would drink a Coke. I would have like 3 bites of a sandwich. I would always get one of the sandwiches at the Sony commissary, and then I'd be like, nope, can't finish this. No way, not happening.
I gotta say, this was not the response I expected, and I'm so glad I asked, because that's the kind of inside Jeopardy look that you don't get at home.
You couldn't do the math. The man wasn't eating.
Yeah, I recommend, I guess people are like, what does it take to succeed on Jeopardy? I'm like, don't eat anything ever. Just the whole time, eat like a granola bar and that's it, and drink 2 Cokes over the course of the day for the little caffeine boost. That was my recipe for success until it wasn't.
There you go. Worked for 9 games. So I have to ask, obviously you knew your whole life about Jeopardy because of your dad. And then, we didn't even mention you've been on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You've been on The Chase. You actually saved Jeopardy for last. Was that in the plans? Have you been trying to get on Jeopardy for a while? Tell me about your Jeopardy journey.
Yeah, I auditioned. I did one in-person audition for Jeopardy when I was in college at a hotel in Baltimore, when they were still doing the in-person auditions there. And I auditioned for Adult Jeopardy as like a sophomore in college, which really glad you guys didn't take me, because it wouldn't have gone. It would not have gone well. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I literally, in my stupid, cocky college brain, I was like, you can win on Adult Jeopardy forever. So that's more than you'd win on College Jeopardy, which,
Smart.
But I didn't know anything. So like, why would I do that? Like, I'm so glad that I didn't make it through on that initial
Saved your eligibility.
audition. Yeah, I saved my eligibility. I remember that the local news came and did a story about the Jeopardy auditions, and the entire time I was just sitting there like, why didn't they take me? Why didn't I get on Jeopardy? And there was 1 second of me where they were doing the buzzer test of like everyone's trying out the buzzers. I did like a cocky little head twitch, and that was the only video footage I saw of me auditioning for Jeopardy. I'm like, I get it now. I know why they didn't take me. Like I looked like such a smug little teenager there. I'm glad that I didn't get taken when I was a 20-year-old to go on Adult Jeopardy, but I've been trying periodically ever since then. I remember I did the audition for the one I got chosen for in like May or June of 2022, I want to say, and I had just taped The Chase the month before, and I was like, this stinks. I got the email about it. I was like, this is so bad. I finally got Jeopardy came back to me, and I'm going to be on TV, and I can't be on TV within a year of another TV thing. And so I was really worried that I wasn't going to get taken. So that was also the other reason I hadn't been preparing for Jeopardy, is because I thought I was out of the pool and I wasn't eligible anymore. I'm like, great, I can study geography, and then I'll take the anytime test again when I'm ready. And then I just got a text one morning. It's like, hey, you're going to be on Jeopardy in 2 weeks. I'm like, that's good. But I really was hoping to prepare more for this.
Wow. Well,
These are good problems to have.
Yeah,
for
this
sure.
is you without preparing. I mean, watch out, TOC Field.
I mean, I'm lazy, so the TOC field doesn't have that much to worry. I'm like going to try to prepare, but I won't probably do a good job of it. So.
Old Isaac was lazy. I got too much riding on this. I'm emotionally invested, Isaac.
Yeah, and nowadays, you don't even have to set just the TOC in your sights. You've got masters on the other side of that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's big money, Isaac. This is wedding money.
If I somehow win TOC and if I do Jeopardy Masters, you know that meme where it's like a bunch of soldiers like around a wall holding guns and there's one guy in a clown costume? I'm going to be the guy in the clown costume at Jeopardy Masters. I'm going to be a little out of place, I think, with the best of the best.
Good.
That makes masters great. We love all types, all types. Well, it has been a joy to watch you on the Alex Trebek stage. I am so glad that we will see you play again. Hope you get to enjoy the rest of your summer. Go out and get your Alex Trebek stamp today, because that just went on sale.
Absolutely.
And we're going to see you for the TOC.
I can't wait. I mean, not too soon, because I do need to learn geography, but I can't wait.
Okay. All right.
Congratulations and good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Isaac.
Bye.
Excited for him. Excited for us to get to see him play again.
Definitely. Well, that brings us to the end of the show and this season of Inside Jeopardy. Thank you for tuning in each week to hear us discuss all things Jeopardy. I hope you join us back here on September 9th to celebrate the premiere of Season 41. Plus, we're going to have some very special surprises for you. You won't want to miss it. Have a great rest of the summer, and we'll see you then.
Hey, thanks for watching. Click on the subscribe button and don't miss a moment.